As you know, all faculty at Greendale are required to give extra credit.
This is Joe Russo.
This is Joel McHale.
Dan Harmon.
And the great Chevy Chase. I talked over Chevy's own intro.
I think this was a sort of a watershed episode for us because it was an experimental episode. It was very ambitious. And I think it pointed to I think Paintball is a direct descendant of this episode and the ambition and the experimentation that was played with.
And the same director.
Exactly, and I think part of what Anthony and I like to do when we're working on shows is find
work on other shows.
Find really interesting,
making it impossible for everyone.
Sometimes on set,
playing
a Rubik's Cube, developing another project.
Is find like really interesting directorial voices, people who know how to tell stories, people who know how to work the camera,
people that can look at their phones and direct.
No. Justin Lin is a buddy of mine from film school. We went to film school together.
I didn't know that.
And that's how we know each other. And then, we've been in touch all these years.
Justin Lin, who did Fast and the Furious, and he's doing the new Highlander.
Mm-hmm. He's a brilliant director.
He's doing these huge, awesome action movies.
He's a very gifted visual guy. And what's great about getting directors to come in who are insanely gifted is that they're going to leave the show with some sort of visual language that you can then use and sort of expand on, your dictionary of what the show is.
Yeah.
And he just killed this episode. I mean, it's just a fantastic episode.
He cares so much about every shot.
Yeah, that's the thing about. I mean, I hope that Justin won't get pigeonholed as the guy that does the, action crazy episodes for our show, because he really lands the comedy too. And you see regular scenes like this or on the study room table, he does, every bit as good a job, if not better, than anybody else who's just sort of a TV comedy director.
He's a storyteller.
Yeah.
He understands the narrative beats and what the characters are thinking and doing and their motivation, and he finds a way to let the camera express that. And he's a very expressionistic director.
There's a scene in the episode where Slater and I break up, kind of, and I have to we get back together, and I don't want to be the boyfriend, and it was just straight back and forth, and helps. He was amazing.
Yeah.
There she is, the beautiful and awesome Lawrence DeMille, who is here with us today.
Hello. And that's the introduction of her character, correct?
Yep. She is awesome.
She's fantastic.
I loved working with Chevy.
He's also famous for his French sauce.
My name's Lawrence DeMille.
It really wasn't that much work.
She can literally talk over herself.
She can talk over a lot of things.
Well, I don't know what that means, but I'm going to drink a glass of water while I do DVD commentary now. I sound like Butters.
Mr. Winger. You're tall, you dress nice.
Yeah, I think
she's also the only woman in our cast who's appeared on the show who is over 5'6".
And is over 18.
Oh, hey, awkward. How small is this campus?
Bastard. It's fine, I don't care.
It's disgusting the way men.
Well, Chevy?
I just like to say this. The girls are the best actors on the show.
Agreed.
Yeah, because the
guys are the best clowns.
Danny and
although this guy's getting pretty good.
That's profound.
Thanks. Thank you.
Profound.
It's profound, but in a weird way, he was saying women aren't funny. Did you notice that?
No.
He snuck that in there.
Yeah.
No, I didn't mean that at all. Didn't mean that.
No, well, I'd say I would go out on a limb and call Gillian.
That's
that?
Leonard's second
That's me.
appearance.
Leonard.
Yeah.
That was Leonard's second appearance. We used him in 105 at the...
He began to appear in every episode.
Yeah, and it was... It's a funny story on 105. We'll talk about it when we do 105.
Oh, yeah, Leonard. I almost killed Leonard.
Dan almost killed Leonard in a swimming pool. He's an 85-year-old man in a swimming pool.
Which is why in this scene I was trying to adjust him.
When we get to it.
Because Leonard goes, ooh. It's supposed to be like a studio audience, from the 80s, like, ooh, when she does her burn.
By the way,
and he was just going like, ooh. And I would try to adjust him and he'd go... and I thought at first it was because he thought I was a PA or a homeless guy, but I think he recognized me as his murderer, his attempted murderer.
And Chev, are you gonna talk about Allison?
I was.
Go ahead, sir.
I just think she's really good, and she's beautiful, and I really think that she could be just a huge movie star too. I think she's just a lovely girl, very good actress. Both of them are. I mean, but all three of them. But she's got something very special. A little Liz Taylor to her or something.
Yeah, and she's got such a good head on her shoulder. She's such a good, down-to-earth person.
Well, she like so many of the
really smart. Yeah, and a very nice person.
The thing about Allison that really, one huge notable thing is how, because this show is such a weird. It's a half-hour long, but there's no laugh track, and so you're sort of walking this tightrope. But Allison has this sort of like. She can be sort of over the top, but still tonally grounded. And I don't know how to articulate that, except to say that she's sort of she can kind of start crying for a joke, and she can do a double take and then start like sobbing and stuff.
And you believe it.
That's sort of a when you have a comedic weapon like that, that's makes or breaks your show. I think.
Yeah, it's a very difficult character to play because
she's very secure in herself. I think as a person probably, and that's why she can just do whatever. And she looks terrific, and she knows that.
And now I'm going to say that with Gillian in that chipmunk costume, might be the cutest thing that's ever happened on television.
Yeah.
Well, sort of. It's the strangest costume I ever saw.
It was Gillian's idea. She wanted to be a squirrel.
Wait, it isn't the strangest costume I've ever seen. That's coming up.
This is the longest shot of anybody doing nothing in a sitcom. It was like Joel just walks in and stands there for 20 minutes.
Looks at someone. Look at her.
I know, but I can't tell what that is on her back.
It's a tail.
I know.
It's because you're so rich, you've never lived in an area with any rodents in it.
That's why it only took me an hour and a half to drive down here.
Chevy lives in a flying saucer orbiting the moon.
Here
we go. In diamonds.
This is brilliant.
The internet lit up like a Christmas tree after this performance.
But this is on the DVD. Go watch the blooper reel for this disc, and we have every exchange that these guys had as these characters during this moment.
So funny,
really? And it's really funny.
Yeah,
because sometimes you just let Donald go.
Now we're talking.
Look at you, man.
Now we're talking.
See, that's the
Chevy. This was so funny.
And that's the gift that a guy like Justin gives you, is that little push on the Steadicam, just a transitional moment that, in 20 minutes you got to squeeze that stuff in.
Look at that Mark Singer hair.
Do you notice that costume has no pectoral muscles? It's just one long.
No.
It's like the lower half of a huge costume.
I loved it.
It's like a human
giant stomach.
It had absolutely no biological connection to humans.
This is a great joke. I don't know. I think John Pollock, Tim Hobart. I don't know who in the writers' room, struck on that. The Harry Potter. Urkel thing, and it's one of those small things.
I love the size of that pill case.
Pills.
It's such a prop.
I remember Dino texting me from the set and going, "I'm in a scene with Chevy Chase.
Right.
What has happened to us? What has happened to our?"
This is where Dino slips me. What is it called?
Ecstasy.
Not acid. Ecstasy. Yeah.
We never call it by name, but I think he's. Yeah,
it's probably that.
Probably
right?
ecstasy.
Why couldn't we call it by name?
I don't know that we couldn't.
I have no idea, but I can tell you, any one of them are poison. Though.
If I do, may I?
Here, take this. Give anyone that shows up their stupid credit.
You going to the faculty party? Make me your +1.
Give it up, Winger. Professor Slayer doesn't date students. Or married Asians who drive mopeds.
Give you $20.
I'll bring the hog around.
Oh, look at this. I think
that's a good impression of what starts happening.
That's what Justin told me to do.
The teeth grinding and the best ecstasy televised ecstasy depiction I've ever seen is season 1 of Spaced. I think it's episode 6.
Yes, it's so good.
The guys they go to a rave, and it's like they never actually even show them taking E, but it's like so accurate. And that was 99. Like they were. A huge advance in the depiction of ecstasy trips.
Really, it was like the Matrix of ecstasy trip.
Right,
they had developed a new technique known as teeth grinding.
I have no idea. I never took this stuff. That's nice.
We shot that at...
Holy good God.
Chevy's seeing the show for the first time.
That's correct.
I'm going to go. I don't want to miss the news.
News?
I don't like to look back at my work.
I don't either. Except this show. I don't usually like watching stuff that I wrote, but I love this show.
That's great blocking.
Can I
in
say
this
that?
scene.
That was great blocking.
I love how he uses space.
I'm like the Mission Impossible 3 commentary. I guess it's just them sitting there going, "That was a good stunt. That was good. That was a brilliant shot. Thank you."
I don't know how you did that.
Not me. I could do this all night. I love you. That's when that starts kicking in. That's when the pill is kicking in.
Why are you asking us?
Well, I think I was directed to feel that at that point.
Did you put in Donald's got that run coming up when he runs in and he says Pierce is tripping and then he did
all of them, every take. Yeah, there's like 9 takes.
Glover is truly one of the most gifted improvisers we've ever worked with. It's very difficult to improvise on story and make it work, and the guy has got a writer's brain, and he just figures out how to insert himself in a scene in the way that he's advancing the story and getting a joke out, and not just helping his character.
Whoa.
But this is great because Gillian wanted this costume, and you don't usually listen to actors when they have ideas because they're crazy people. But when an actor says, this is what my character should wear for Halloween, then you go, well, okay, then you had that idea, then maybe your character had that idea, and it's like, it can be more specific and weird. And when I saw her on this set, I was like, oh, I get it. Daddy didn't take her to the zoo. That's what her character's about, because she looks like she's in pajamas, and she's talking to this tall cowboy. And I learned so much about Britta from letting Gillian choose her costume and watching her get activated in it.
Pierce took something and he is tripping balls. He is touching people and dancing weird. It's like Grumpy Old Man, but not hilarious. Okay.
If you see the blooper reel, he will do it. Did he improvise all those?
Yeah.
There's one he goes, it's like a coon, but way more gross.
Ripping the antenna off Professor Slater's car.
This is, all these moments kind of dovetailing. It's just it's fun to do party episodes because you do get to kind of like bop around and stuff. That's Chevy's idea to call the owl Abe.
And the camera angle on that, with it shooting up like that.
Yeah.
He's meowing. He's hugging. I tried to give him a note on the kind of dancing he should do. And
no, wait, there was a note about
meowing.
Yeah. Somebody told me that meowing might be a part of that.
Well, I wanted you to meow. I thought it would be funny.
I just don't understand it.
I just wanted
it helped, though. It helped me get into it.
And you were very polite about grinding on the women's studies department. I remember he wouldn't hump her. We wanted him to hump her, and he wouldn't.
When I was in 8th grade, there was a kid who started meowing in the middle of music class. As the music teacher went, "Who's meowing?" So
the trip's going bad now.
Yeah.
And look he's about to draw.
Pretty hot.
Another improv.
It's like looking at the rifleman suddenly. Joel.
Those guns were real, and I'm not kidding, and they just didn't have the firing pin, and I was in heaven.
Oh, God.
Because I got to play with those guns.
This is the famous scene. Yvette Nicole Brown had to come up to my office because originally, as written, I had her character trying to take a crap in the drawer. And she came to my office.
Really?
She came to the office. It was awesome.
And she wanted to talk. She wanted to chat, and I was like,
"That would have been great."
What's the problem?" Yvette's now in the sound booth. She's outside the sound booth, and she's pacing like a tiger. So she's
trying
a very
to get in the door now,
person.
She's trying to get.
But the story, she came in and she was like, basically, it's like, here's something a white creator, EP writer doesn't think about, I guess, like her character, maybe. She says it's not about her representing black women, it's more about Shirley's character and all that stuff, blah, blah, blah. We had this big, long conversation. But I like it that she didn't take a crap in the drawer. Because it frees us up for season 2, where I have this whole thing about her having diarrhea the whole season.
But see, that
would have bumped.
To me, that is empowering. She's in the other room right now, so she can hear this.
Well, she's in the other room for good reason.
We want to do this runner with her, which her character takes giant shits
in drawers,
and they call her Moby Duke.
Right.
And they're like the size of footballs, and she. So and that would have bumped. It would have bumped.
It's like that's when.
And now we can do it. Thank
Actually,
you.
There's very very nice acting going on this.
Yes, there is. No, this is
not a tale.
Chevy, you said you don't like the sentimentality. What about this scene? Have you ever seen it?
No.
Well,
is it sentimental?
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm not watching it.
Well, guess what? Part of our show is its
That's
heart.
not sentimental.
And Britta
There we go.
is bionically strong. I mean, that was
Yeah.
it's a subtle thing we've been working on.
It's
Yeah,
like
that's like she's
it's
like
like
a
a
metal
robot.
trophy.
Rips the head off with
Yeah.
one hand. This is all Lynn again. This was his idea.
It's called the doggy cam, right?
Strap this cam onto Chevy.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Did Sam Raimi invent this cam thing? Where you run through the woods?
They used to use it for those
Evil
reality
Dead, I
shows
think.
where they would go through the haunted houses. And
Yeah.
this is the best act break in the history of television. And we were feeding Allison lines on a green screen, going the Sputnik stuff and the Beatles stuff, and we turned and Chevy had been listening to us on the headphones in another room, and so we were basically doing a bunch of old jokes, and then we turn and he's standing there in the doorway, and he goes, I knew the Beatles, and I was at Woodstock, and you guys can go fuck yourselves. He was like really mad, but he's dressed as the Beastmaster.
I don't even know who the Beastmaster is.
Mark Harmon, 1980.
Was it Mark
1981. Yeah, Mark Harmon.
No kidding.
Mark Singer.
Mark Singer.
UCLA quarterback.
Can we rewind?
We should rewind because that's going to hurt the soup credibility.
People are going to be in real big trouble.
Mark Singer, star of the original
Mark
V.
Singer. Yeah.
Boy, nicely done, Joel.
Yeah, that was. I feel like I've said something horrible.
The Beastmaster
I remember
had a
some
smallpox
controversy around this
vaccine
as
where-
well, wasn't there? Around this
Once
this
again,
moment,
the amazing
right?
Lawrence Simile.
Chet Chang Dr. Ken couldn't. His line is, "Here's something you've never tried," and he leans into whisper, and then he starts doing all this crazy shit with his fingers, like he's
Right.
miming putting a thumb in your butt.
Right.
It's like, come on, it kills the joke to be extra funny. Like you need to. Sometimes you need to set up the joke that comes next. That's something Chevy doesn't get either.
Oh, you know what? We forgot to mention Mexican Halloween.
These guys just want to be so goddamn
on
funny
Yahoo,
all
that
the
was
time.
trending like 3 the day
on
after.
Google, it was
or
the
Google.
next. It was number one.
Oh, was
on
it number one
Google.
Mexican
The next
Halloween?
day, Mexican Halloween.
And who made up that phrase, Dan?
I'm sorry, you guys are wrong. I know that if you left the camera on me longer, you'd get the better of it.
Mexican Halloween was just something that was in the script, and then I added the tag of like the sexual position thing because it sounds like
one.
Pretty hot outfit. Wait, is that harassment when you say it on a DVD?
No.
The Robin Hood.
He also did a bunch of these.
I thought you were talking about Donald's outfit.
That's hot too. Though.
Oh, he did do a bunch of these. Yeah. It's just his read on the line.
Drugs.
He just adds that little something.
Donald's a very shy, a very funny guy, a very smart guy, but a very shy guy who would never deign to like inject his own like comedy unasked. And so throughout the season, you can see the character gets funnier and funnier because it's basically Donald feeling more and more permission from us. He's not a cocky guy, so
right.
he's like. So he just gradually he gets the idea, he gets the hint that we're like, dude, just make the show funnier than it was when you walked in the door. We want you to do that.
Oh boy,
this
was you were awesome in this part.
Yeah.
It's a giant set piece that we had built on the construction stage, and we had to test it a few times.
This was actually right around the time when I started thinking about paintball, because I was inspecting this rig with Justin, and we started talking about how he was going to shoot it collapsing, and I started to realize that Justin Lin reminded me of a lot of Channel 101 directors. He had a very, very keen ability to juggle comedy and action, and I thought, wow, could we actually do episodes that were all action and didn't just have these like action elements?
I remember exactly what I was thinking when I did this scene here.
You were thinking Justin Lin doesn't know anything about comedy because that's what you said to him when he tried to direct you.
No.
He came out of the set that Chevy says, I don't know anything about comedy.
Dinner. Also though, just doing a set piece like this is the first time we're starting to like step out of the show, and I think Halloween gave us the permission to experiment with the boundaries a little bit. And just having a chair fort collapse, and Danny doing something that an action hero would do, but playing it as if it were part of the world of the show.
Yeah, I mean, this is again, your heart should swell a little bit if we're doing our job right, because I don't know, it's not because you feel bad or good or anything. It's just because everything just works right. And then this VO that he does about how he's a bat and he's at night and all that stuff we took Danny aside into a vestibule. He improvised it into a boom mic.
Yeah.
And we used the improv basically uncut first take. It was supposed to be placeholder, but I told Danny, just keep babbling about darkness and light and get your dichotomies tangled.
This shot and the next shot, Justin had about 45 minutes to get both shots. And
also, I'm sorry, to answer one of your Twitter questions, I saw, when did you start considering an option to do the shipping with Annie and Jeff? That shot there, which so many of you have made animated GIFs of, where she's so giddy to be dancing with him, and there's a romantic undertone to it. There is the answer.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Joe, the shot.
No, and it's probably 20 minutes to get this crane shot, and just watching his brain work and the way he orchestrated those things so quickly.
And this was shot right before day was about to break.
And then there's a chapstick.
For a second, we toyed with doing the community logo as a spotlight in the sky over his head, but I think we felt like it was too much. This is all improvised. You were just sitting there on set with him, and we were just kind of riffing, and then he would say stuff.
I thought you were there too. Yeah. You were shooting this part, right? Or is that against? Is that illegal?
I was not there, David.
Well, he was playing Bejeweled, which is he was there.
Yeah, we just had him improvise, but it's cute. It's this friendship. It's these guys are the Cheech and Chong of the show. But
the gingerbread man shit is like.
Well, what am I of the show? Just the old guy?
You are the
asshole.
Anchor.
Right.
Anchor.
You're the coach.
You're the Gandalf.